Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back for the Tuesday edition of Second Breakfast. How you guys doing out there in TV land? I am getting ready to do a little more painting. I actually did a bunch of painting last night because I got a new set of terrain pieces. I saw a really good deal on eBay, and so I jumped on it. They arrived. I'm going to work on them. They're mostly Star Wars themed, just little bits of terrain, just little scatter pieces. But I also got a couple other things. I'm going to see if I can't do that for the moment, so I can see what I'm showing you. Um, it's just some crates and some sort of vent coming up out of the ground. Uh, Star Warsy looking. I don't know what this is. Some sort of monitoring station, maybe, or I don't know. And then a stack of just crates and equipment and things like that. But one of the really cool pieces I got was this hologram table of a city. So it's like got a 3D projection of the city here. It actually has two. Actually, it has these little light nodules that you just set underneath, and it lights it up from underneath. And those are actually pretty interesting as well. And then a second, smaller version of the same thing. Very, very cool, that will definitely spruce up Jackie's game table whenever he decides to use them. Now, the lights themselves are these really, really odd little light bulb things. They're these little balls that stand up like this, and underneath it's got one of your pull tabs to allow the batteries to touch one another and actually light up. And it is the on and off mechanism, and you have to sort of slide this little plastic tab back in if you want the batteries and the lights to shut off. And I don't know how long these are going to last, so I have to be very careful with them. I am going to contact the seller and see if I can't buy like a crap ton of these, because they're just, because their size, they're really small, about the size of an old school miniature gumball, not the big 25 center ones. They're probably like $50 now, but um, they would be very useful in a lot of different pieces of terrain. So I'm going to see if they'll sell me some more, or maybe I'll just have to look around and see. Maybe they can just give me the link to where they get them from. And I made this funny mistake while painting. I don't know if you can see. It's kind of got a glossy finish here. And I thought I was just using Army Painter black wash, but what I was actually using was this new thing called oil stain. And I didn't even think twice because, it was showing up glossy, which is what I wanted, to make it look like a sort of polished, steel or black plastic cover here. And it turned out perfect, but it's actually oil stain. And I didn't really want to use this for that because I wanted to use it for, and I have used it in a couple of places to create the effect of an actual oil stain. But that's what I'm working on this morning. I am just about done with this particular engine port. It really, you guys are lucky. It looks much better on camera than it does in person. It's kind of it's so hot up here, and I should have been using a wet palette, but I was being lazy and I just kept adding water, and it doesn't look quite as good in person, but on camera, definitely. And I'm gonna have to remember and keep using this exact pattern of white, yellow, white, whatever this plasma blue glow is for that. And I'll begin assembling the ship over the course of the next couple of weeks. I've only got a few dozen pieces left to paint to assemble it. but I'm in no big hurry because it looks like Jackie's not going to be using it for his next game, which is fine. I'm sure once he sees it put together, it'll spark some idea that he could use it for. But in the meantime, I do a little bit here, do a little bit there. I am concerned with the rooms, the four rooms that it has on the interior, how to do those because it's very hard to get at some of the areas, the little consoles and things like that. And I want it to be very white and what was it? It was a Tantive 4, I think it was the ship at the beginning of Star Wars where the Rebels are on. I really like that bright white, sterile look to the ship, or at least that part of the ship. And I want to keep that sort of effect, but it's going to be very difficult to get any sort of detail. I normally use uh, a Vallejo paint effect called light gray wash. It's a mecha wash, but I can't find this anywhere anymore. I doubt there's any bottles still around, so I'll probably have to make something from scratch, and that's always hit or miss when it comes to creating your own washes. And I don't feel like putting on my glasses just yet, so I'm not going to work on this right now. The- These tables, they're coming out and coming along quite nicely, touching up because I dry brushed white and silver for all the little command sections, with the buttons and screens and things like that. What's up, Chris? Good morning, man. But I did overbrush some areas, and that's what the black wash was for, is to go in and touch that up. And I don't feel like wearing my glasses this morning, so I'm going to work on. I'll show you a couple more of the pieces that came with this set. This weird pylon. There's another one in this stack here, but this one's a separate one, and I'm debating on whether I should paint them identical or different, and if so, what color. This one really reminds me of that either Robbie the Robot or that robot in Star Wars that looks similar to this, but it's really not a robot. It's just some sort of piece of machinery with a little button display thing here, and I don't know if those are supposed to be cameras or sensors, but this one's got that, and it's got a bunch of different um, crates. Although these crates are huge, I was told it was 28 millimeter scale, but let's see if I can find a 28 guy. Yeah, here we go. This Drow, there is no way he's going to be picking up those, even two of them, and the handles just look this is just ridiculously large in comparison. Here, I'll give you a better example. Same container, but the Drow standing next to it. It's like you're definitely going to need some sort of jack or dolly or hover platform to move these bad boys. But in a sci-fi world like Star Wars, you probably have some sort of powerlifting droid that could just handle it, or some sort of thingamajig to do that. And then, hey, what's up, Mike? I mentioned you. Was it this morning? Was it you who found those little blue furry critters in the B&B game? And then some more realistic size crates. I don't know if these are supposed to be like air tanks in a rack, or if there's some sort of weaponry. I don't know. And then this little crate with buttons and dials and monitors on it, as well as somebody's lunch. And that's not the only time they did that. But you can clearly see like a bowl with some sort of food, maybe potatoes or something floating in it, and two cups. And then over here on this one, same thing. You've got all kinds of, crates and devices and stuff, and a barrel of, pickles maybe or something like that. And someone's dinner table with, you know, jugs and a bowl and a cup. But then over here, you can't really see it. I'm going to show you. There's two bowls on the ground which are clearly like uh, uh, some sort of animal food dishes right here. I thought that was hysterical. You know, they didn't have to do that, but they did, and it's kind of, yeah, kind of cute as well. So cute you could eat them up. And then the seller was nice enough to send a couple of free prints. This it looks like an Imperial Guard. Let's see if I can get that so you can see the eagle weapons crate, and then another one similar crate, but it's actually opened, and you can see the sort of pluck and pull foam design here, which I really thought was cool, and some sort of devices in here. Maybe it's ammo or something, but both clearly I think this is more like 32 scale, 32 millimeter scale, but gonna run with it. Some of my minis are like these guys right here are from Shadows of Brimstone, and they're clearly making those drow look pretty short. So I'll just make it work. Yeah, I was thinking of actually using that image for the thumbnail, but I got a little behind and I couldn't find the image. But Mike, was that like too corny, too cute, like too out of place for the theme and the feel of the game, or did it make sense that there could be something that's not just out to eat you, trying to not be eaten themselves kind of idea? I heard someone say the other day that Grimdark is on its way out, and I'm like, well, it's about freaking time. I was, I was there at the beginning when Grimdark, first reared its ugly head, so to speak, back in the '80s, with the original Edge Lords, yours truly being one of them, it's evolution over the years. Seth Skorkowski did a really nice video on it as well, and it just you got overplayed like everything else in our modern culture of let's burn this cool thing out sooner as opposed to later, and it had a healthy run for a trope and a trend, but without that contrast, it's virtually meaningless. And you guys know where the link is if you want to pop in. Anybody else, regulars, you guys also know where the link is. But if I do the show solo, that's fine. I do have a yard to mow today, and I don't like the idea of mowing the lawn at 7-ish p.m., which would be the smart thing to do because it's yesterday it was 94 degrees here. Okay, thanks, Mike. I don't know how anybody else felt. Everybody is so lately. A lot of the people we know, they're so intent on just optimizing and getting every little XP and copper piece out of every single situation, and their paranoia levels pumped up to 11. It really kind of for me sucks the life out of some games when your players are like that. Or when the GM tries to impose that and get everybody to think that you can't trust anybody and everybody is out to get you and blah blah blah. It gets old and boring after a while. Now, what color do I want to use? I want to. You forgot opinionated and got a stick up their ass. Well, I don't mind the opinionated so much if it's not out of character and you know you know the people I hang out with, and invariably any game or hangout I have, politics and current events and crap like that will get brought up, and there goes 15 minutes of your life you're never going to get back or more. But when it's in character and they're actually role playing and speaking in tongues, for their character, I don't mind so much. But sometimes it's really hard to tell. That's why I think, even though a lot of people are like, "Oh, no funny voices," I'm not doing that. I really think you should. If you can do it, do it, or at least affect some sort of mannerism to cue your GM and players that you are in fact speaking in character versus out of character. In the old days, we would say, out of character, to let everybody know that they are in fact speaking out of character, and they don't really mean what they're about to say, or that it should have no effect on the game. But if you can, just practice, uh, Mike will tell you, I'm not the greatest role playing DM, but at least I gave it the college try, and try to make the NPCs sound different from each other, and sometimes they will sound like each other. I've done that and caught myself doing that on occasion where an NPC sounds like another NPC, maybe from a different game, but sometimes from the same game, and it's hard to I don't know how the Venture Brothers, Doc Hammer, and Jackson Public did it without big bold lettering on the script to remind them who the frick they were playing, and there were times where I could catch them falling into a different voice. Like there was a scene where I forget. I think it's Doc Hammer was doing a dialogue between Doctor and Mrs. the Monarch and 21, and their voice is so similar to the trained ear that I caught him, messing up, and they just ran with it and kept it, thinking nobody would notice. But then you've got autists out there like me who's like, "Hey, you screwed up." But yeah, so I've got to come up with for most of these crates and boxes and things. I want to keep them in their kind of natural white, but in order to bring out any sort of definition, like right there, I can see that you guys can barely see all the detail, and there's quite a bit of detail on the front of this box. But I'm gonna try the Mecha Wash on this and see how it works. And a trick with washes that most people don't tell you, or at least I don't ever hear other people telling you, is you've like the square box. You've got to do one side and leave it there till it dries, and make sure that the wash doesn't pool up because it's so thin that it's going to go to the lowest point, and that might not be where you want it to pool up, or you might not really want it to pool up anywhere. Chris says, I had a GM that was an actor in local community theater and can do voices well. It was nice because each NPC had their own voice and manners, and it made it easy to keep track of NPCs. Absolutely, without having to have the GM tell you that, oh, so and so comes up and starts talking to you, or some sort of preface like that. It's nice. It really is nice to have a GM or players that can do that. I guess that's why Critical Role and things like that were so popular. Even though I, honest to God, never watched a minute of any of it, I didn't even know it was a thing until after I'd already heard lots of people, bag on it and say this, and I'm like, knowing it was scripted, etc., is the bad thing. But the talent of the people involved, I'm sure, was fun. And if they had been at my table or I was at a table with them, I'm sure I'd appreciate it. I had this one friend a long time ago. I haven't spoken to him in decades. One of the first early, really great role players that I met, and he was, for the most part, strictly a player. And he only had a couple of characters, but one of them, his main character, his longest running character that he, enjoyed playing the most, etc., who happened to be a half orc, I want to say fighter thief, just, you know, scoundrel, but not evil, kind of evil in the later days, I guess, was just so good at that character. And he never used that voice or those mannerisms or any of that for anything but that one character. Never heard him, talk like that in real life or anything like that. And wherever you are, Richard, I hope you are having a wonderful, wonderful life, doing wonderful things. maybe using some of those talents. He was drawing a comic book, uh, kind of very Phineas Fingers style, back in the day, and it was really good. Different characters, different things, his own ideas, etc. And to be honest, I never read it, but I looked at it and I'm like, all right, if Phineas can do what Phineas did, you can get away with this, and maybe someday, put it out there. I should probably go look and see if I can find it and see if he ever did anything with it. If he ever, you know, published it or anything like that. Because nowadays, I mean, it's so easy to publish, self-publish just about anything you want on your own, and not really need permission like you did in the old days. Where if a big company said no, you probably were never gonna go further with that particular project. I was talking to Miguel this morning. Did you ever read End of Innocence, Bubba? What'd you think of it? I kind of a big fan. I don't normally get really into stuff like that. A little, I'm not gonna lie. I did like Stranger Things. I thought it was perfectly fine. The one thing in the last season that everybody, about, I didn't give a shit. I mean, it was unrealistic as hell. Nobody did that back in the day, and nobody would do that right before the big boss fight. Because again, nobody cared. But everything else I thought was fun. It came on so long. It started so long ago that Jackie was young enough to be into that kind of thing, and his mom enjoyed it, and we were all able to bond over it, at least for the first 3 years or so, and then after a while, they just, because it was so sporadic and long and far and few in between, etc., that they kind of gave up and forgot about it and never watched. Like everything else Miguel does, it's very well done, and surprising, coming from a guy like him, but he has just got a talent to do things just perfectly. I was reading, in it, it's got two separate cities or towns, if you will, that you can run the campaign in, and I've absolutely fallen in love with San Cristobal. I don't know where it is, but somewhere out there in the multiverse, there's an Earth with that place, and I just can't wait to go there, regardless of what age I would be at. But it just sounds like if you got to go to a place like that as a teen or preteen back in the day, your parents took you on this vacation to this sleepy little beach town with little mysteries here and there, and they don't even need to be, like a monster or UFOs or anything more than, pirates wearing rubber masks a la Scooby Doo. It would still be just this absolutely magical place, even if nothing was out of the supernatural or anything like that. I haven't finished reading all of San Cristobal because oh crap, wrong color. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to use that paint sometime soon. You guys know how I am about not wasting paint, but it's just so freaking idyllic that I just want to go there and retire there. I guess because my family never got to go on vacations like that with my parents and their situation. Going anywhere that didn't have ramps and wheelchair accessible, you know, setups. We went one, we'd go to like Disneyland and things like that, and it really drove home how fucked up that must have been to be, confined to a wheelchair your whole damn life and miss out on like all of the great shit in life. How they even had kids is still a mystery to me. I still think I'm adopted. But yeah, pick it up or grab the PDF or something. If it's not your cup of tea, I don't I don't blame anybody for that. It is it is an odd sort of genre to be interested in at our age, but movies like Cocoon and the Kick the Can episode of the Twilight Zone. Maybe it's because I'm older than you guys, and I know what's coming down the pike, so to speak. But I can definitely see why folks, when they get to my age and older, start reminiscing about the past. I think this whole hobby is deeply seated in that sort of nostalgic reverence for maybe better times, although I'm still having great times, so it's not quite like that for me. How about you, Bubba? You feeling your age yet? I have a huge list of stuff to pick up. Just having to help with family and medical expenses, so not much of a priority. Totally understandable. And if it's not something you like, you absolutely want to run. Again, why would you grab it? But I was on Amazon and I was looking for books of theirs to see what they had, if anything there was worth picking up and adding to my files up here to help me put together a Venture Brothers game. And I saw Grindhouse, and I'm like, just the cover alone is like, hey, that's very, very Venture esque. So I picked that up, and then I'm like, you know, I know what's going to be in here. I know what's going to be in Grindhouse. I know just how off the hook that's going to be, and how it'll probably affect me and everything I do from that point forward, because all that little information will be freaking squirreling around in my head. So I saw End of Innocence. I'm like, okay, I'll grab this one as a palate cleanser and a complete contrast, and amazingly enough, with his raw, as they did Grindhouse and other of their games, being able to transition to the most wholesome game I've ever read in my life. And I've got Dark Places and Demogorgons. I've got Kids on Bikes. I've got hell. I've got Quactica, and Barrows and Bunnies is on the list of things to get. I have Darker, but not Gothic, and I kind of got the impression that they're kind of the same book. But I could have swore I bought Gothic, but if I did, I must have filed it away somewhere uh, else. And I do have what do you call it? Final Frontier and Orbital Decay, and you did great work on Orbital Decay. I'm going to bring James in here.
Hey, going
Well, howdy.
another late night.
I know. I was just going to say, dude, what are you doing awake at this freaking hour? Are you a madman? What's
Yeah,
going
it's
on?
like 2 o'clock in the morning. Um, well, Ree's got to go into hospital tomorrow, so I can't really sleep.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, bro.
No, it's all right. It's just a routine thing, but
Yeah, but
I'll
I
be
hate
asleep.
hospitals.
Yeah, well, that's basically it, you know. But so my sleep is a little bit out of whack anyway. But I got up and I was like, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll have a shower and a shave and say hello to Shadow.
Appreciate it.
So
Appreciate it.
yeah,
I'm about three
I might
quarters
also
through
take
the
him to
video you
Columbus.
sent me, and I needed to shut that down because it was getting late. But I am watching it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't really drop by to talk about that. I mean, it's kind of heavy subject matter anyway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
It's not
but
the place for that.
And it's
We're just
just
going to talk
one
about
one.
army men and super glue and
Yeah, yeah,
paintbrushes and silly shit like that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's just one point of view anyway. You know what I mean? It's just an interesting take on things.
Well,
You know?
it does mirror some things that I believe, and some things I've known for decades and wish I didn't.
Hmm.
Um, but
Hmm.
so, what are you working on your table? You got what's the most exciting thing you're working on?
Well, I've been trying to think of like where to start other than HeroQuest, but I've just been working on HeroQuest. I got another supplement come in the post today. Actually,
Nice.
the Frozen Horror. I was kind of a bit on the fence about this one because it's got some funny mechanics in it, like sliding on the ice tiles and stuff like that.
That's kind of cool.
Um, and it's got like a big yeti and some like frost goblins and some like bears and stuff like
Okay,
that. It's
I think I actually have some of those pieces in my collection, and I wasn't 100% certain where they came from.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is one of the original. It's a reissue of the original. I mean, I didn't get all of the Hero Quest expansions. There's like 11, but I did get. If it was out the first time around, I bought it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, if it's a reissue, I bought it. But some of the newer ones, I was like a bit less convinced by. And after a certain time, you're just adding a lot of orcs and undead that you already have,
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
a lot of the time. When they come with unique monsters, it's really nice. Like the Mage in the Mirror one had like a big golem in it, like maybe like a brass golem or something like that.
Hmm.
It's
Okay.
armored at any rate. And that is really cool. And there's like a minotaur in there, and there are some elves and stuff. So it's kind of like a nice change, you know. But if you buy every Hero Quest expansion, you are going to end up with a lot of goblins, a lot of orcs, and a lot of monopose goblins. So I would not encourage everyone to buy every single one. you know.
Hmm. Yeah, I bought the main box and nothing else. I barely painted anything out of it. As Jackie said, "Oh, I want to paint this. I want to paint that." And I'm like, "Okay." And
Yeah.
that day never happened.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess he's got a lot on. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
But
He's currently he's writing the speech for the graduation, the JRTC graduation, not the whole high school graduation, but he's the
mhm,
MC of the event. Uh,
mhm.
and he just nailed it last year. Just
Yeah.
you know, ordering people around and all this other stuff. It was like watching a completely different person, and I couldn't have
Mhm.
been prouder.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good that he's a
Uh,
confident
well,
speaker as well.
well, Ear Trumpet. Thanks for letting us be whatever it is that puts you back to sleep. I guess.
Mhm.
Hey, what's up, Paul? You know where the links are, guys. If you want to pop in, feel free. I'm
I was
probably
gonna
not going to
say
be here.
I've had this zombie sitting on my desk for like ages, so I might paint that actually. I might get some water and work on it.
One of my most proudest paint jobs of all time is one of the mummies from the first set, the original. Um, I don't know why, and I managed to get like this green look to his flesh underneath the bandages,
Mm-hmm.
and I just every time I see that I'm like, man, I did that perfect. And
Yeah,
uh,
I mean the original. I sort of wish that they had gone a little bit more for the original designs, but I sort of understand why they couldn't. There's a lot of it is like GW IP, and they're pretty crazy about protecting that. So they had to kind of
what's up,
like even the
Bubba?
Fimir,
Hey,
even the Fimir, they had to replace. Hey, how's it going?
it's chugging along.
Hey, everything okay, man?
Yeah,
You guys are all doing all right?
you're doing
Better?
well. Yeah. Kids are doing great.
Yeah, well, what about you, man?
I keep getting that question from everybody, man. I'm fine. Everybody's like, "Are you sure? You don't seem fine." But all I wanted was Pepsi. I don't know. Ever since I got the surgery, I've just been kind of really laid back, and
That's probably best.
yeah.
That something like that would scare the living shit out of me.
Dude, I can't wait to die. Give me a nice, good, nice rest or something.
Yeah, you got to be careful when you say that around the wrong people.
I know the doctors are like the surgeon, man. He was like, if you do not get this, you will die in your sleep. And I was like, hey, there's worse ways to die. Let me think about it. No,
And there's worse ways to do so.
yeah, you're not listening. I was like, yeah, you want to put something extra in me that's going to guarantee I come back to your office every fucking 3 months. And then I went for my first thing for just the implant, and it was a cup. Oh God, it pisses me off. A bunch of fucking LPNs and a rep. It was like Blade Runner. There wasn't no fucking doctor. There wasn't no RN. It was people who couldn't answer any questions. And 2 of them failed basic science, according to Daniel, because I was getting kind of irritated. I said, I noticed that the fire I had, when I leaned forward, this thing started heating up. Nothing else. I mean, so all high heat situations I got to watch out for. I don't see why not. I said, I got to avoid EMI. What's high heat and EMI got to do with it? Because all high heat creates electromagnetic interference, all of it. The higher the temperature goes up, you generate electromagnetics. Oh, go back to fucking junior high. Fucking fat.
That's
You had a bit of heart trouble.
Yeah, I got a defibber. I got chronic systolic congestive heart failure and heart. I got so much scar tissue that it's just a matter of when. So
No, that's not good.
I'm kind of used to it. I've already beat the numbers for CHF on the curve, so I'm past the 50% mortality rate. So I can crank out another decade. I'll be super happy.
Same here, man.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Especially if
I haven't even known you 10 years. I would really like to get to hang out with you for, at least a solid 10.
Yeah.
Chances are, being older than everybody on the planet, I'll go first, but
I'll take care of you. What you gotta do. And stop giving
I'm trying. Little steps.
Part of it. When I beat cancer, I had gallows humor and it made everybody else really nervous. And I was like, if you get like hyper focus on the illness, it will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, positive thinking definitely helps.
Yeah, I just because I was always curious when everybody was leaving the damn cancer unit to go to hospice and shit, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's good. How's that's good? Because it's a numbers game. If I start with X amount of people and the patrolling round is X percentage, and X percentage is already hit, then I'm in the clear, going by the numbers, right? Man, the nurses did not like that at all. I'm like, it's just math.
Yeah, well, again, they probably need to go back to junior high, and 2, they don't like to be reminded that because they're women, that hopes and prayers and fuzzy, warm feelings, cure everything.
Yeah, I just
Prayers are a good thing, but when it's time, it's time.
what a concealed door.
No need race to the end line. Absolutely.
And I started going back to the heart clinic since I got the stupid implant. And we were going over stuff, and one girl was kind of scolding me, and she goes, you got to watch this. You got to do this. I said, I think I'm doing all right. And I said, I'm holding my weight at 190. I'd like to get back down to 175. But, I'm not retaining water. I am getting more shorter breath a lot, like with minor exertion. So I got to work on that. So I started walking again. I said I just haven't been able to get to do my walks and stuff. And I got 14 grandkids, so I'm always busy with grandkids. And
That is a lot of grandkids.
oh yeah, it's a blessing.
Yeah,
They're
of course.
handful, man, but whoo! Perfect example. Alex, I was like, come give Popsy a hug. He charged me and headbutted my damn defibrillator.
Oh,
I can't take blows to the chest, right? It'll just turn off or it'll zap me. I was like, it's all right. She goes, did that hurt? I was like, oh,
oh yeah. Oh, dude. Of course, my gallows humor, goes straight to what if that was the final blow?
yeah.
That kid would be freaking, scarred for life.
I know it'll be something stupid like me opening up a cabinet door and hitting it just right, and I just drop right to the floor.
Hey, as long as it's not while you're dropping a deuce, right? I mean, how picture that. You have lived the most charmed, freaking amazing life imaginable. You are the king of fucking rock and roll, and you go to take a dump, and that's it.
And there's a lot of drugs involved. Plus his diet. I'm like, you know what? I have had the peanut butter bacon banana sandwich in a variety of forms, and it is delicious. It is amazing.
Yeah, but have you ever hauled off and shot your TV?
No. I've shot cars. I executed what was that? That blew a Fairlane or something. Yeah. I emptied a clip into a Fairlane, into the engine block. Man,
yeah, I've shot a few cars too.
I alternate dum-dums and magnesium, so the boomers. So every time that magnesium, that pop, crap, pop, big pops. And I was sitting on my porch when the cops pulled up. I was done with it.
That's a Florida man headline.
Well, I'm from East Kentucky, so it was a hillbilly moment.
Kentucky.
Yeah. Did you see Salty Cracker this morning?
Nah.
You probably don't watch him, right?
Yeah, I do. The salt must flow. Salt must flow.
I've been watching him since he was in about like his, just hit triple digit subscribers. He has a short this morning of a motorcycle hanging from a traffic signal.
Yeah.
And he's got the footage of how this motorcycle hit this like BMW or something and freaking somersaulted up into the air and landed up in a freaking traffic light.
Yeah, I've seen bikes in really strange places. It
was fucking just, oh my God. What are the odds, That's like the odds of, seeing a balloon land. Like we've all seen balloons land, go up in the air. Kid, lets go of the string and the balloon goes up in the air. Have you ever seen a balloon just randomly out of nowhere, just a balloon just freaking land in your neighborhood or within, right?
Yeah, I have.
Pretty fucking rare.
Yeah, a lot, but yeah.
I can only think of one time for me. Just like, have you ever seen the green flash at a sunset?
Yeah, I do like sunset. So hiking, I've seen the green once or twice, but maybe the orange thing, but not very often. And that
I've only seen the green flash. I might have seen it twice, but I think that my brain is just wanting to say that I saw it twice. But I know one specific time I saw it, and it was here, so I know it hasn't been that many times because I didn't even know about the green flash until about a decade ago. I used to be addicted to the Weather Channel
of atmospheric issues to make that happen. So yeah, it is.
And I used to watch, the History Channel all day long. It would just, not the History Channel, the Weather Channel. It would just be on.
Now you know you're on when you're watching the Weather Channel all the time.
And that was 10 years ago, man. 10 years ago.
I love the Weather Channel.
I loved it. There was so many things I learned, and the Green Flash was one of them. So I started paying attention because where I live, I used to have an entire computer hard drive full of images of the sunset here because they were just absolutely stunning. And when we ever, the rare occasion that we have clouds up here, even more so. And so I started taking pictures of that, and unfortunately, something really bad happened to that computer, and I have none of those pictures.
You know
And I
what?
should.
That is the only thing I do remember about California was sunsets from Simi Valley and out in San Diego. That's it. That's all I remember. And street food. That's about it.
The up here in the high desert, we get it's awesome. It's freaking awesome.
Next time I'm on a hike and it's sunset time, I'll send you some photos from Appalachia.
Speaking of Appalachia, do you watch Miss Thursday Adams?
She's from Moorhead, right?
I don't know. Just absolutely cute as a button, brunette, big.
If she's the one I'm thinking about, she's a hardcore lefty, so I take it with fucking. No, it's a brunette. I don't know who this is. Never seen her.
She is just the cutest thing I've seen in decades. Her accent, her mannerisms, her whatever the little goofy things she talks about. Just if I was 20 years younger and not married, I would be moving out there.
Yeah, there's this blonde out Moorhead, and she's got a cryptid supernatural show she does, but
she talks about Sasquatch on occasion, but it's mostly just like teaching you Appalachian slang. It just makes you feel like you've gone back in time 100 years and listening to how people, for the most part, everybody talked like that in a way. At least in this country. I remember my grandparents talking and using some of those phrases and some of those words.
Yeah, isolated Appalachian dialect is as close you can get to Old English for the longest time, but we've been flooded with so many Yankees and people moving to the south and to the mountains for summer home that it's diluted, and access to the internet and stuff like that is really diluted the accent. But it's still here. I mean, there's a Kentucky twang, and I think it touches all like 6 states. It touches to a certain point.
It's just interesting that we're all speaking the same language. You, me, and James, and we have just. I don't care what anybody says. I think English is the absolute height of language and the most beautiful language I can imagine, with its usage of metaphors and similes and all these cultural references. You don't find those anywhere else.
Because other regional areas aren't as large. You can remember how big Appalachia is. We're so much larger.
I mean, English, worldwide it's not the most commonly spoken language, but it's the best. It just.
You are truly a Western chauvinist. I'm okay. I'm that way too. I'm a Western chauvinist and a nationalist. So it's like, yeah, I get it.
Like I learned early on, not with my wife, but with another girl I was with who spoke Spanish, and we were watching something, and she was talking to somebody, and I heard her say, El Hulk, and I'm like, hold on a second. You mean you don't have a word for Hulk in Spanish? Yes, El Hulk. Like, no. The word Hulk means something. It's not his last name. You know what I mean?
It is the noun now.
Yeah, and most people don't even know what that word is. They only know it from, the TV show or Marvel or whatever.
I've been calling all Mexicans Mestica here lately anyway, just for shits and giggles. They don't like it.
Why not?
don't like being called Indians.
Well,
You know, the native Mexicans, they don't like being compared to the people that live out in the jungles.
I
It's like calling them Colombian Mexican. They get, they'll stab you.
so you've been painting anything lately?
I'm caught up on my damn battle mechs, so I'm not painting anything.
James, did you keep your mechs, or was that something that you got rid of?
I tried to get into BattleTech, but I was like, I kept finding myself being more into like the combined arms than the mech specifically. So I was like, I don't think this is the game for me. You know what I mean? Like I was more attracted to like the tanks and the artillery and stuff. But the mechs, I was like, I'm not really vibing on these. You know?
I was kind of the same way, but I got, even though I started with the metal minis back in the day and I tried to play, but nobody else wanted to. But then when the Hero Click Plastic Click version came out, my friends were like, hey, this looks pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, I told you about it, 20, 30, whatever freaking years ago, but you weren't interested. And with it, the vehicles and everything else, because it was part of the, the way they sold it, you got a mech, 2 vehicles, and 3 pieces of infantry in the boxes.
Yeah.
You're gonna do that. You're gonna play and you're gonna use the vehicles because that's the way the game was made.
I've been more interested in like Epic or maybe even like Ogre. You know what I mean? If they brought Ogre back.
I just saw a Steve Jackson Games at one time put out metal minis for that game, and one box set of one ogre is like $100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought the whole game, the remastered, Kickstarter, whatever, big box set for like $60, all plastic pieces. Jackie and I had a blast playing it, and I do have 2 of the metal boxes from the back in the day, but what I've got might be one of the rarest Steve Jackson things of all time. It's called Ogre Thulu. You know what I'm talking about, Bubba?
Yeah.
I've still got it original.
He did like luminescent pieces for it as well, didn't he? Where they like glow in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were black light tables. I thought about that in my garage, but I just ain't got the gumption to do it because I wanted to paint a bunch of terrain black and then do all the edges in reactive paint.
Neon paint. Yeah, you know what?
I'd do it, but there'd be a lot of stains come up. So yeah, maybe I better not.
That's what I do now.
Check this out. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, and if it's even plugged in.
I want it to look like the display from like 1980s movies playing BattleTech or sci-fi games. I thought that'd be a hoot.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a light on my table that is a black light because we used to, when we, back in the day when we first started the channel, we did paint a lot of things, and there's still a crap ton of things in our collection that have highlights or just neon paint, hidden in places to do that, so that we could turn off the light. And when we were using the light up board for Dungeons and Lasers, these things would show up and look just absolutely freaking amazing. I had, as a kid, I had all the blacklight posters. I still have one left. My favorite one, the Voyage, the sailing ship. I'll have to take a picture and post it. It's like one of my favorite images from childhood. It's this big galley sailing off into the sunset. It's just freaking gorgeous. I would stare at that poster as a kid for days.
They're on Etsy. New blacklight posters are on Etsy. There's a whole subculture for it. But
really, I will definitely take a look, because the little version I have like the 11 by 17 tiny version of the Voyage.
Oh, really?
And the full size version of that poster goes for 250, like 175 to $250 if you can find it, from the 70s. I got one. I thought I was getting a deal. It's like, oh my god, it's only $75. I grabbed it, and it turned out to be, like this big. It's just like
My
tiny.
James stayed with us for a while when I was a kid, and the room he was in had all the giant sword and sorcery blacklight posters. Like
I had like, I want to say like 50% of my walls and ceiling were blacklight posters, and the other were like rock and roll posters. I had this one Blue Oyster Cult poster that was, if you've got a double sliding closet doors, it fit one door completely perfect. I wish I still had it, but it got shredded over the years, opening and
the biggest
closing.
poster I had was a life size elbow over top of my bed. I was a teenager. No need to
Yeah,
explain
yeah.
anything else.
Hey, I got to hang out with Cassandra over 100 different times because she'd be at KZY, the radio station, handing out free midnight at the movies tickets. And every Friday, my friends and I would get to her Pinto and drive up there and get tickets for Friday and Saturday nights, midnight at the movies, hang out. She was like 10 years older than me. It wasn't going anywhere, you know. But we talked to her and her chauffeur and the people at the station and, try to get her to go to the freaking movies and watch Rocky Horror with us. It wasn't happening. But she did it for like 2 years, I want to say, every freaking Friday. Just be there to hand out tickets. And it was weird because KZY was like back then, this was like, 1982 maybe, was an oldies station.
Yeah.
Okay. And that meant, bubblegum and bebop music and stuff like that. Kind of very, nothing that we, maybe the Hollies or something like that. Nothing that would, really, nothing really bangerish, for the 80s.
Glenn
But
Campbell,
then
24 hours from Tulsa.
but now I go to these like grocery stores and other places, and I'm going, oh my god, they're playing some great music, and then it hit me last Saturday. Oh my god, this is an oldie station,
Yeah. Dude, when I was at Kroger's,
and they were playing. It's an oldie station, and they were playing "Flock of Seagulls,"
yeah,
and I'm like, oh
There
my
you
god,
go.
80s new wave, baby.
fuck yeah, I love that shit. I still do. But I can't picture me going out and hunting down, a Flock of Seagulls CD. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
why would you buy it on CD? Get vinyl. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Well, because I don't own any vinyl. Well, I own like 10 records, and I'm just not into vinyl.
I love
Um,
vinyl.
I know you do. I know you do. I can't do it. I'm trying to, music is one of the things I found that I can shrink my profile, my cubic poundage footage, whatever you want to call it, in storage, by going to CDs but not just going to CDs, but going to box sets of CDs because it's a smaller package. I got Blue Oyster Cult, and the collection of CDs is like, on my shelf was like this,
Yeah.
but I narrowed it down to this by buying the box set. Not all that plastic, etc. Plays just as good. They're brand new, so they probably play better than the ones I had, and
I
it's all
still
good.
buy I still buy CDs, and I do pay for digital music sometimes. Rebuys vinyl. I set her up with like a good like bookshelf speakers and a tube amplifier and everything, but she still just listens to music on her phone. You know what I mean? Tiny, teeny little speaker. So I'm like, oh, a bit of a waste, but all right.
You know what's funny though? You said that about the tiny little speaker, but the speaker on my phone
Pretty
is
amazing.
better than my laptop and my tablets.
Yeah, my S25 speakers actually rocks. I won't give it
This one,
Bluetooth. Yeah, we keep like a half dozen Bluetooth in the house for some reason.
Yeah, same here. I've also the wife got me a CD player that actually had a dual cassette player in it, brand new.
nice.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well, when I
where do you
was
leave
still
my
making
cassette?
music, I was still using cassette because like if you're doing a bunch of stuff in the computer and you're using like lots of software generated sound, if you pipe that out to like an old 4-track and then record it back in, you get really nice compression effects from the tape. You know, like it would kind of glue everything together.
Yep. My first car had an 8-track in it.
I had an 8-track player back in the day, and I had one 8-track cassette. It was a blank 100-minute cassette. And it had this cool feature where when it got to the end, it would just start over again. So I made this 100-minute long, mixtape of like all my favorite, like the most acid rock shit I could think of and find in my collection, just to annoy my parents. Just the most, like, it would be like, just stuff that I knew would just drive them crazy. Here comes Bear.
I had 4 8-track cassettes in my car.
Nice.
Bon Scott AC/DC that's it, and 2 Alice Cooper. That was it. That was all of it.
Welcome to the show, Bear. How's it going?
Because I had Black Sabbath. That 5 8-tracks. That was it in my car.
There were 7 8-tracks in my car because all I had were 10 8-tracks in my car.
I
do the same thing. I only had 4 of those things. Then I remember there were 6. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, no, it sucks, man.
One of the Cooper I didn't listen to much, but man, I wore out that Bon Scott AC/DC shit, man. I wore that shit out. Down Payment Blues. Bow, bow. I discovered my uncle had a real soft spot for ABBA, which was weird because he was they called him Big John, and he looked like Big John Bricklayer would look like. Loved ABBA. So weird.
ABBA are like weirdly huge here, and I think it's like it's one of those things where like when pop music is so well made, you can't really deny it. You know what I mean? It's like,
it grows on you, man. My granddaughter's all about it. We started collecting. Yeah, we started.
It is actually hard to make a like catchy pop song. It is a bit of a like exact science, right?
Voodoo. We got some water. I'm thirsty.
Oh, you know what? These speed paints, they're making me so lazy. They really are. I don't know if
I freaking love them, but I don't rely on them exclusively, even though they make up a big chunk on my desk. They're crap for dry brushing, and sometimes a wash will not reactivate them, but just kind of ruin what the speed paint's supposed to do.
Yeah,
that makes any sense.
This one I'd airbrushed like a sketch on top of it with like white ink to make it nice and easy. But the speed paint just reacted the white ink, so now he's got like a lilac fucking helmet. So I'm gonna have to
are you using 2.0s or 1.0s?
2.0s, but it's just the white ink. I should have put a little bit of paint or medium in there just to make it stick to the model a bit more. But yeah, he's a purple helmeted zombie. So feel free to make any jokes about
helmeted zombie.
Yeah, would you like to see my purple helmet?
No, I don't want to see your purple helmet anything. Thank you.
my angry purple helmeted zombie that's hungry for brains.
Amazing.
I got nothing, man. I got nothing. So how you doing, Bear?
I'm fine. How you doing?
I'm living the dream, hanging out with my friends and getting ready for. I do have to mow the lawn, and of course, because I do the show, when I do it, I get to mow the lawn at roughly the hottest part of the day, which will be probably somewhere in the hundreds, because I'm an idiot and stubborn. And dumb thing too is I woke up like a half hour early this morning because I listened to one of my alarms, which I normally just don't, but it was like it was somewhere else. So I had to get up and turn it off, and I'm like, well, I'm up. And I just sat around watching and scrolling, doing stupid shit. And I could have just ran out real quick. And, when it was nice and 70 degrees, I could have mowed the lawn. I'm like, fuck that shit.
What is it now?
Retarded. I am retarded.
How cold is it now?
Well, right now it's probably like 85, 90 degrees outside.
And it won't be 70 again tomorrow? It's
Yeah, but
California.
I'll
Isn't
still
every
be doing
day
this.
72 degrees where you are?
I mean, it'll get warmer. When we wake up, like 7 a.m., it'll start to get toward 80, and eventually it'll be 90 when you wake up, and then you'll wake up because you're on fire. I just I have a routine in the morning, and it's wake up, have breakfast, make breakfast for the boy, get him off to school, and then do the show. And like he leaves at like 8:30 to 8:45 to get to school, and the show starts at 9 my time, so I don't have much time in between. And once he is no longer going to school or going to college or whatever, I'll change my schedule up. I was actually thinking of moving the show forward like an hour after he graduates, just so I can sleep in a little bit later and I can start the show a little bit later, and more people can join and listen and that sort of thing. If it's
It's a very
get
complicated
better.
life to live, man.
Yeah, well, just trying to work the algorithm and do the
If
things
you want to
that.
work the algorithm, everybody has to wear a Space Marine helmet. Then you'll get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hits. If there's a little Space Marine helmet in your picture, it's going to get clicks. Even if it's unrelated. Like tonight, our government announced the budget. Prime Minister's wearing a Space Marine helmet so people pay attention. It's necessary.
What about clown makeup? What kind of crowd would that bring you to?
I don't want to know.
Clown makeup, but soy facing in clown makeup. So like,
Wait, what kind of clown? Mime or juggalo makeup?
Ooh.
I can hold my
Ooh.
pants up. I got some fans in the house. I can hold that on the screen. That automatically floats you with juggalos for some damn reason. I was checking
I
out.
don't even know what that means. What the hell is a juggalo?
Oh, you go to the big insane clown posse gathering every year.
No. Okay, I'm starting to get an idea, but I'm really not a big.
Juggalos are just going to be. A lot of people are going to do anthropology PhDs in like 10, 20 years about juggalos.
It's a collection of people who burned every bridge to their family units, and now they call themselves a family because they're complete total rejects. Best way I can explain it.
Okay.
With bad taste in music.
Gotcha.
Pretty bad taste. Pretty bad taste in music, ranging from like new metal to like, I don't know, kind of
that
sort
rap.
of more like dirty South kind of hip hop, I guess. But yeah, they're a bit cheesy. They're pretty cheesy. I'm more on the same page as you guys. I'm kind of more of a 80s new wave. Synthesizers, guitars.
I got a real question. I've been listening to a lot of country western lately. A lot of Nick 13 and Polly Punkneck and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry Reed. I think I've really burnt my well on Jerry Reed. I really think I have. Jerry Reed, baby. Eastbound down, loaded up, we'll truck it.
Didn't he do She Got the Gold Mine, I Got the Shaft? Yeah, exactly, yeah. Split it right down the middle, gave her the better half. Exactly, yeah. I grew up on all that shit. My mother was a huge country music fan, every car ride. Whether I like it or not, I'm listening to Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn and Freddie Fender and Hank Williams and Hank Snow and Jesus Christ.
What about Hank 3? Like Hank Williams Jr. Yeah,
Hank,
he's
what?
pretty wild.
Do you have a microphone that isn't underwater by any chance there, Mr. in Australia?
Have you heard Hank
This is
Ford?
Reprobates.
Have you heard Hank
Can't say
Ford?
I have.
Oh,
No.
buddy, you need to go down that rabbit hole. It's amazing. You thought Hank 3 was a little off? Yeah.
I guarantee you,
Right,
my
yeah.
girlfriend.
I got nothing on Hank Ford.
She's the country aficionado, and she does like a bit of that kind of old country that's like a little bit American Gothic kind of.
Westernburg
You
country,
know.
Westernburg country, got stuff like that. Yeah.
Marty Robbins has always been my favorite. That's, to me, that was like just
And Mario Robbins is fine. Red Sovine, guys like that. I don't like new country, and the reason I don't like new country is because it's just twangy southern rock now. You know what I mean?
Like
It's just-
my favorite, Alan Jackson, Chattahoochee.
What's his name? Fuck, Mr. Jones. Who did Mr. Jones? Shit.
Oh, that's the
I'm in trouble. Come and get me, Mr. Jones. Who the fuck did that song?
I'll have to look it up now because it's in the back of my head. It's starting to piss me off.
doesn't ring a bell.
Counting Crow. Not really. Oh, were they doing good?
La 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 la. Big Al Downing. That's it. 1978. Big Al Downing.
But any genre of music, like sometimes you have to come back to it at the right time. Like 20 years ago, when I was listening to like drum and bass and like techno and stuff, there's no way I would have listened to country music. Now that I'm a little bit older, I'm like, I can kind of get it a little bit better, you know, like.
You know what really dragged me back
resonance
to
and,
the country was actually psychobilly. A lot of the psychobilly bands,
Reverend Horton Heat, baby.
yeah, a lot of the psychobilly bands have a country western or a country side project. Nick 13 fronts Tiger Army, but I much prefer Nick 13.
Do you like Mesa Chops?
Mesa Chumps? Yeah, dude, I love them.
Yeah.
So I heard
It's kind of Russian surf rock, and they do like the Twin Peaks theme, and the girl
I'll be
is
right back, guys.
she's pretty cute.
Hold down the fort.
Oh,
Holding down the fort.
rockabilly and surf rock and metal are all the same. Like foundationally, structurally, as music, especially the guitar, it's the same stuff. It's just either distorted, not distorted, or sped up. It's like that's the difference. And there's a guy on YouTube at a great channel where he took all of these fucking classic metal tracks, played them, and then he took the distortion off, and it suddenly was fucking surf rock. And then he just changed the tempo, and suddenly it was fucking rockabilly. And it was like, holy shit!
One of the other great things about like that surf rock sound is like the spring reverb as well. It's got like a kind of wet, slappy sound to it. That spring reverb that they have on their
which one? Sorry, which one?
amp heads.
surf punk.
Like
surf punk. Surf punk's
rock,
different though. Surf punk's not like surf rock. Surf punk's a whole other beast, right? It's got some of the same DNA, but they're doing the punky stuff with it. Like that's one of the things I liked about punk was that punk took a lot of standard stuff and just fucked with it, and that's kind of cool. You know, that's what made it interesting. And then the fucking Sex Pistols just turned it into noise, and I like the Sex Pistols, but they weren't really fucking musicians at the end of the day, you know.
I like the Sex Pistols, but they're kind of more of an R&B band, really, like a rough pub rock R&B band in a way.
That's fair. I can see that.
Yeah, the day
You ever hear the story about the first time the Ramones played at CBGB's? The owner of CBGB said these guys showed up. I was pretty sure they were here to rob the place. They said they were the band. They got on stage, did a killer 8-chord progression, and then left. I still think they first came in to rob me. That was his entire take on the Ramones.
The Ramones, like, people kind of rag on them because of the whole merchandise thing. But sometimes when you're walking down the street and you got your headphones on, you just want to listen to Beat on the Brat and kind of just, you know, slum it a little bit.
They were basically like 60 music turned up to 11. But I did. But, you know, the first thing every punk did was buy a damn suit. I mean, they all were good. At least the damned are honest about wanting to sell out and get paid, right. Everyone else is like, no, but they're all rich.
Well, they really did manage a few good, because they got kicked from like label to label. They really did get a few good paydays early on as well. Like, you know, they made some money.
Bad.
Sure. I love John Lydon. I mean, he's kind of a pain in the ass, but it's nice to have him. It's nice to have him around. You know.
Well, you know he's going to be honest with you. It's like.
I miss the Pogues.
Back to Pogues. I think that was the last ugly.
Honestly.
Was that the last truly ugly rock band? Everyone else has got.
Oh, his teeth, brother, his teeth.
Yeah. Maybe Meatloaf lasted long being a chubby guy with asthma.
Meatloaf, like I like the Pogues. I would never, ever in a million years say that the Pogues were like, artists by any stretch of the imagination. But Meatloaf, he had fucking talent. I mean, there's no doubt, You listen to Paradise by the Dashboard Light, and you're like, Jesus Christ, this guy's got talent, Whether you like
I kind of hated Meatloaf, but that's because he was in the charts here for like 20 years. So every Saturday morning you'd hear the same string of hits. I mean, he just never left the top 40. Like,
see, he vanished here for most of the 80s, and then I Would Do Anything for Love was his return, So there was a good gap between Bat Out of Hell and that one that no one gave a fuck about Meatloaf. It was kind of nice. Here's one I always ask people this. People don't always feel the same way, but I'm curious. Any of you guys Dr. Hook fans?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
They got fucked by the video industry. That's
like paving the way for punk in a way, like moving
Dr.
back
Hook?
to straight trousers and like pub rock.
How
about, we don't call it pub rock here; we call it bar rock here, right?
Here's a band you guys probably haven't heard of. Not heard of.
No shit. Shadow is a band we never heard of. Hang on, guys.
I know you've heard them. You probably haven't heard them like in forever though. Atlanta Rhythm Section.
They charted in the 80s, but I wasn't a fan.
No.
There's a couple of songs that they did that just hit me real hard for some reason.
Never heard of these guys.
I'm sure if you looked them up, you'd go, okay, I remember that.
I'm looking for it now. So they're So Into You, Doraville, Georgia Rhythm, I'm Not Gonna Let It Bother Me, Jukin', Alien. Never heard of any of these fucking songs.
How about When You're in Love with a Beautiful Woman?
Oh, I thought that was Dr. Hook.
Covered.
Was it?
Yeah, When You're in Love with a Beautiful Woman is Dr. Hook.
Okay. Maybe that's why I was thinking of them. But
yeah, Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show, When You're in Love with a Beautiful Woman.
Yeah, they covered it though, I think.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
What's up, TNT? Daryl, how you guys doing? You guys are talking about Meatloaf, and I did like a deep dive like last year into him, and he was literally for like that album for like a decade was still hitting the top of the charts, man. It was just
which album?
Absolutely.
You're California's leading Meatloaf researcher.
Wow, man.
Meatloaf in California.
James didn't wake up and choose violence. He's still running on yesterday's violence. Damn. That was pretty funny. But to this day, if we go on a long drive, every once in a while, instead of playing Paul McCartney's Band on the Run, I will play Bat Out of Hell for, family road trip music.
We saw Sir Paul play last year.
Really?
She went to see him, yeah. And, she came home about, 11, 12 o'clock, and I was like, how was Sir Paul? And she was like, it was good.
I don't get why he charges money anymore. You know what I mean? Paul McCartney.
Well, he's kind of an old piece of celery with a guitar hanging off it at this point.
Well, he's doing it. Look, he's doing a tour again this year, and the tickets here for the show, like floor is like $500-$600. It's like it's insane.
We saw Elvis Costello together for like.
Rich. What do you need money for?
to build a death ray. That's been his project. Beatles is just a sideshow for the death ray. It's all culminating in that.
He's not even the real Paul anyway. We all know that.
Right.
Well, I put some stock.
As soon as you said
I
death.
put some stock in the Paul is dead theory.
I do.
Clones aren't cheap.
I it's funny because I was when we did the conspiracy iceberg, I did go down that rabbit hole to check that out, and I'm like,
there is a surprising. There's more to it than just magazine entries with like quirky
the thing is,
captions.
when you see the picture of the car that the accident he supposedly survived, and you look at that car and you're like, how the fuck did adding on at least lose an arm? You know what I mean? Like something.
Yeah.
I personally, I would chalk it up to he was meant to, so he could go on and do all the things that he's done so far. And apparently that death ray needs to get built. So he has to keep living until it's built.
Yeah, there you go.
It's either that or
it's more of a sonic weapon, really.
It's either that or he's going to build that big giant mylar curtain to block the sun. One of the two.
It's all him. He's behind all of it.
He's the original
and
Bond.
It's not even the original Paul. It's evil Paul. It's like it's the clone.
It's the interdimensional vampire Paul.
Exactly.
If you
look into Paul is dead, there's a few leads there. It's a little bit spicy. There's a possibility. I mean,
okay. So
I'd rate it higher than Bridget Macron's penis.
Listen, I literally went down that. I'm not even touching that one, dude. And you shouldn't be touching penises either, except for your own. I went down that rabbit hole too, Shadow, and I will say that the absolute reality of Paul is dead has more merit than Avril Lavigne was replaced by her body double or any of that other shit.
Who cares? Who cares? I'd run her over myself.
I see you're in that mood today. I liked you yesterday. You were in your nice mood. Today you're in your fucking annoying.
Well, he's still up from yesterday.
I wasn't running out of pot, Ben.
You were so gentle and easy to get along with yesterday. Today you're just back to I'll say anything. I don't give a fuck.
I acquiesced. I acquiesced.
Kill them all too, right? Fair dinkum.
Right. Yeah. Fair suck of the sauce bottle. It's funny because Australians try and like trade on the novelty of Australia, but that like wore out in like 1982. So everyone else is like, dude,
I lived through the 80s.
Seen Crocodile
everything was Australia and ninjas. There was a run of time in the 80s where everything was Australia and ninjas. So much so
by
that the role-playing game champions. I know I'm talking. Just keep going. It's okay. I'll just keep talking to it. One of us will eventually stop talking, I guess.
Eventually,
the Champions role-playing game had an Australian ninja in it. That's how fucking ubiquitous Australia and ninjas were in the 80s.
You cannot be Yahoo serious,
dude.
Jacko Jackson.
I do like me some Young Einstein. What was that?
That actually wasn't bad.
Young Einstein was hilarious.
It was like Australia's.
Who's the other one? Paul. What's his name? Fucking Crocodile Dundee. What the fuck was his name? Paul
Hogan.
Paul Hogan.
Yeah, that fucking guy.
National treasure.
He's an Australian. He's an Australian for tax purposes.
But that's the only one they've got.
No. Come on, Mel Gibson, a New Yorker who convinced the world he was Australian.
We steal other people. If you're talented and you're from New Zealand, you like somehow become Australian. I don't know how it works, but we steal New Zealand celebrities.
Hey, it's not a ninja. This is a ninja.
We stole Rusty. We stole Russell Crowe from New Zealand ages ago.
I see. You played Knifey Spoony before.
Yeah. But I've tried to trade on like the novelty of being Australian. Just be completely stonewalled by people going, bro, that was like 40 years ago. We know where it is. No, we don't care.
It's like the drop bear thing. I had a couple of Aussie friends who were so married to the concept of drop bear. I finally had to ask them, "Are you like getting a government check to sell this? Like, does the government pay you to do this? Fuck."
Just, like for some reason, when we go overseas, we think it's really like exciting for other people to come across us, but it's actually not. It's usually
So I used
like
to do security out on the
some
West
poor
Coast,
local,
and we would do it up in Whistler, and Whistler was full of Gold Coast Australians. They are the worst
Hey,
fucking human beings I have ever met.
they would have
Oh
done
my
such.
fuck!
They would have drunk the town dry and then
They
shit in your
did.
letterbox.
They were drunk all the time. They were fighting all the time. They were inappropriate touching ladies all the time. Like it was just
Well,
like,
sometimes
fuck.
you just got to take it, like Pepe Le Pew.
Are they the ones where the term Drogon comes describing them?
I think it's Bogan. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking anyway, Gold Coasters, what fun!
I mean, there's not a lot to do up there except gamble and like go to the beach.
You would
Oh,
think
so
that's enough.
Southern California.
Gold Coast is like if you're an influencer and you have like an 8-pack, like, and you Instagram while like running at like 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that, I mean, it's hilarious how badly run this place is as well. Like the whole like fuel crisis thing going on is like we have all these refineries that have been shut down, and like one that mysteriously caught fire during the whole Strait of Hormuz thing kicking off. It's like, imagine the timing. Like Paul McCartney's got to be behind that one for sure.
Paul McCartney. Totally the lime spiders.
I was talking to Shadow about like undead, why I love undead and how I love the variety of like undead creatures you can have in like war games and stuff, like zombies and werewolves and stuff. We were going on and on about the list, and I said, except spiders, fuck those guys.
Not a fan. Not a fan. We ran into one last night.
If I have a model one, I deliberately paint it very bright so I don't mistake it for the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ran into one of what?
The spider.
What kind?
Miniature.
Oh, do you have wolf spiders in California? Because we had them in Pacific Northwest.
No,
Jesus.
no. But when I was in Virginia, I encountered one, and it still haunts my nightmares 40 years later.
When I got to Vancouver in the 90s, the first time I ran in, and I'm an arachnophobe, so the first time I ran into a wolf spider in my apartment, I was like, first of all, what the fuck is that? And second of all, is it hissing? Why is this thing so fucking aggressive? What the fuck? Like, it was insane. I've never seen a spider that aggressive in my life.
Yeah.
And they're big and they're hairy.
Good point, Death Angel. Yeah, that pissed me off. Because now eggs are back down to like they can't give them away prices, just so they could make some freaking extra money on our panicking. We didn't suffer 1 minute because I normally keep about 4 or 5 dozen eggs in the fridge. I know you don't have to, but we do anyways. And
No, you have to keep them in the fridge.
We just, we just weathered that whole thing. No problem. Just not buy eggs for a while, and when other people started doing the same thing, I noticed how quickly that blew over. But having to kill the fucking chickens, considering that, every cooking process known to man would clear that right the fuck up.
Here's a question for you, and maybe I don't know. Maybe one of you guys has a theory. I don't know about Australia because you guys are on another fucking planet. Why the fuck is beef so expensive these days? Like, if you notice,
because they don't want you to buy it.
The beef sellers don't want us to buy their beef. Like, what the fuck is going on there?
No. The people that want us to all be vegetarians etc. They're pressuring them, and the pressure is amounting to fewer cows are being raised, so they can charge more money as they slowly phase out beef out of our diet.
which is a mistake, but anyway.
Well, that's what they
Yeah,
want
it's expensive.
is weak, men who don't benefit from eating beef and going out and uh, do the things that we need to do. I don't know who they think is going to get to do this because I've seen the sex robots, and if they can't do the most basic female function of
Wait. Sex
giving a
robots. I'm
good, giving a good blowjob, how do we think robots are going to put together a sandwich, or make a car or whatever?
not sure what that has to do with cows, but okay. Thank you for letting me. I
How
know how
did we get
Shadow's
here?
brains, cows, sex bots tie together somehow. I don't know.
Hey, leave it to me. I'll find a way. No, if they think they're going to replace us with robots and just have us as proxy
Oh, I get it. So the price of beef is high because they're going to replace us with robots. Your mind is a terrifying place, sir. I want you to know that.
I wouldn't mind.
worked
I wouldn't
hard
mind
to
a robot to help outside in the yard or around the house. That'd be nice.
That
But
is
you just know
right.
it's
What
going to
was
be
that? Sorry, I
watching you
couldn't hear
while you
you.
sleep.
To eliminate all the excuses for mass immigration to your nations, just automate that part of society. But the two big factors with beef started during the Biden administration. There was a lot of culling of cows like they were doing the fucking chickens. And
Oh, yeah?
processors are like a consortium, right? And they are restricting how much is getting done to create false scarcity, and then ranchers cull their own hoods, their own herds, so not to take a huge loss, and that shot it up. And then they immediately went in to import beef from cheaper zones, other economic zones like Brazil.
Yeah.
You can get anything under $13 for ribeye and stuff at food fairs. It's all Brazilian. But we all buy local, so it doesn't really affect us where I'm at because those got chickens, and my daughter has a herd of fucking 24 fucking cows. Okay, so if I want a cow, I just go get it. It's no big deal.
So you know how like a few years ago they had a bad, horrible olive crop, and then the price of olive oil jumped like by 150%.
Yeah, so did
about 3 years ago or something like that. Have you noticed that in the 3 years since, which we're assuming they've gotten good crops again, the price of olive oil hasn't fucking come down?
Right.
No, nothing ever comes down in price.
Same thing with coffee. Like 5 years ago, the price we had a bad year for coffee, and now the price of coffee tripled. Oh, but now apparently they're making plenty of fucking coffee again, but the price is still nice and high, right?
Even most double income households that like we're friends with or related to, like about 85% of their cash goes on just living costs now, like food, bills. So I don't know how people I know who are maybe like only working a couple of days or they got health problems or whatever. I don't know how they're doing it, honestly.
No one knows.
I have no idea
No
because
one knows.
it's really tight for us, and we've got kind of 1.5 incomes. So I don't know what it's like for people who are like really struggling.
I've always lived within my means, which a lot of people don't. Mass majority of people don't live with the means. I've always lived with the means, and I've always not gone without basics, right?
I would like to live within my means, but my means under the current Canadian economy, rental structure, grocery bills, utilities, and what I make would be living in a box in the backyard, would be living within my means.
And it wouldn't be your backyard, right?
We used to do 30% of your income went to rent. Then another 10, 20% went to utilities, and then another, 10, 20 went to your groceries, and whatever you had left over was what you put in savings or had for fucking around money. The average Canadian is now paying 60 to 70% of their income just on rent.
Yeah, it's
this
nuts.
Country has lost its fucking mind. Groceries have shot up like 75% since COVID. Like, it's insane. And like the government sits there going, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And we're supposed to be like, at what point can we not afford to live, guys? At what point can we no longer, with full-time jobs, pay our
Because
basic
if you're a
lives?
top level public servant on like 200 or 300K, and you actually can afford like help at home, like you don't notice any of this stuff, right?
Nothing.
Like,
Mhm.
you know, the people under you might, but you don't, you know.
See,
So
that's the one thing I like about you Americans compared to us fucking Commonwealth cunts. You Americans, they start doing that shit a little too much. There's a point where you guys start shooting people, and they go, "Wow, maybe we should adjust our fucking attitudes a little bit."
I
Us,
reckon the French are pretty good too. They'll
yeah,
just
but
strike over
the French, yeah, don't get me started on the French. Trust me. But the thing with us in Canada and New Zealand and Australia, the Commonwealth nations, what do? We write a sternly worded letter to our MP.
Well, we're very
that's our
passive.
big
We're
rebellion.
very passive.
Or you come
Very
up with
passive,
another
very polite,
color coded,
you know.
victim card.
Oh, that's the NDP. Oh dear God.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
guys are never
Oh.
going to live that down, dude. That video is going to last forever.
Oh, dude, you
Remember,
realize
in Australia-
75% of us are not them, right? They're very.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that totally.
They
No
are a
society
fringe.
good like that.
For most of these countries, though, like I don't know about Canada, but certainly here, it's like we've had mostly prosperity and not too many national challenges without, you know, taking the world wars into account, right?
Mhm.
So we're just like primed to be sleepy and accept everything and go along with everything and not notice it until it's a real problem. You know, we're just like,
Our problem
it's
is,
like
that,
it's like Hobbiton. We're like hobbits, dude.
well, so
Like,
what happened
that's
to
it.
us is different, which is basically the housing bubble got real big, and the boomers
Mhm.
started buying extra houses. Right, that was the boomer
Yeah.
generation started buying crazy amounts of houses, and then they set them up as fucking, you know, Airbnbs and shit like that. And I was watching this one really good, like, smart politician talking to the news, this one interview, and he goes, "What do you think the survivability of election chances for any fucking government that decides they're going to run on reducing housing costs in Canada, thereby lowering the value of all this fucking generation's extra houses? How easy do you think that person's going to get reelected? You think that's going to work out well for him? No, it's not." It's like, it's a very good fucking point, right? The boomers,
Yeah, I mean, tonight
remain
they
the worst fucking generation that has ever lived on this fucking planet. They are the fucking devil's ball sack.
but they don't know it because it comes purely from being comfortable and like in a bit of a bubble. Like they're not consciously trying to screw you over. Like not in an aware kind of way. It's because
No.
they grew up in a period of such prosperity that they don't get. I mean, I remember my mother-in-law saying to me at my new workplace, like I was working in this place, she's like, "Oh, you know, do you have like a morning tea lady that comes around?" Like back in her day, they had like a lady with a trolley with like cakes and coffee and packets of cigarettes come through every like couple of hours. I'm like, what the hell? No, I work chained to a desk. I'm literally a Chinaman. I sold her all day, like, you know, for a bowl of rice. So, you know, like they just live in another world. It's like they're not bad, and you know, they gave us like
exactly.
the Beach Boys.
They
gave us the Beach Boys and like casual sex. So you know, thanks.
Yeah, that worked out well. HIV.
Yeah, but I mean, you just put cream on it; it'll probably go away.
I saw a really good commentator talking about the whole
I was
thing
a goth, but I put cream on it.
Okay, I saw a really good thing about this, talking about the boomers, where this one guy was doing an analysis of them, and he said the fucking worst part of the boomers is all the things they brought, prosperity, home ownership, sex, drugs, all that, are the shit they now campaign against as old people. It's like only for them, just for them. Nobody else gets to have it.
It's part of the fun. It's part of the fun. It's like being like a conservative politician and then like, you know, having like, you know, a secret stash of ladyboys. It's more enjoyable that way if you're like legislating against it.
That's fair. I used to know a girl who was a dominatrix in DC, and she said the most common thing that she would get asked to do was basically violate male prostitutes in front of these Republican politician guys who would pay her to watch her do this. You know what I mean?
Well, it's just like an anatomy lesson, really. But What does someone say? I heard this quote the other day. I really liked it. It was like, "Sex without love is just jujitsu."
What the
Oh my God,
fuck? Sex
Bubba,
without
you
love,
missed that one.
it's just jujitsu.
I don't think any of us are going to forget that one, James. Thank you so very much.
James, do they have radon gas in Australia? Because you might want to get your detector checked. I'm
We
just saying.
probably invented it.
Oh my God.
Yes, yes. This is what our lives have devolved into. Bear, I wouldn't
I
miss it
mean, you
for
can go about
anything.
the rest of your day.
If anybody would have
shooting.
told me that, 20, 30, 40 years ago, this would be what I would be doing with my time, I don't know, man.
We're completing the system of German idealism here through discourse.
German idealism?
Yeah.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I'll bite. What do you mean?
It's just a reference to something involving Shia LaBeouf in a public space. It's an old internet reference, but it checks out.
Checks out. So, Bubba, I couldn't help but notice. Not only do you have the Jaws T-shirt and the Jaws socks,
Yeah.
you got the full ensemble going on. What's going on?
Such a memorabilia is weird. I'm a huge Friday the 13th guy. I have more Jaws stuff than anything else. I don't know why.
Yeah, but I mean, do you have like Alexa on 24/7, and it's just constantly looking for Jaws and Friday the 13th stuff, and you see it and go, yes, finally.
I don't search any of it out. The Jaws stuff that ends up in my lap. I don't understand it. My daughter.
Because I mean, like I had to look for like my Creature from the Black Lagoon, one of my
I
all-time
got
favorite movies.
probably after Jaws. Now I probably have more Frankenstein shit.
I had to look hard and far and wide to find a good Creature from the Black Lagoon T-shirt. This one's the movie poster. Julie Adams, Richard Carlson, all the names and things like that. And I've actually had a couple, say, "Oh my God, cool shirt, etc." There's still people around who remember the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, these are my Stein Martelli Creature and Bride. I just ain't got a place to put them. I got way more Frankenstein stuff. There's 2 3x5 poster frame posters of the Bride and the Creature. 2 or 3 busts.
I've got
Weird.
I've got the I don't know if you remember back in the day, Marx was a toy company that might still be around. They made Army Men, but they made those superhero statues. They also made the Universal Monsters
statues. Yeah, the glow in the dark ones too.
I've got 4 out of the 8, I think it is. And finding Frankenstein is like one of the hardest ones to find.
Really?
Every week I check and see if one comes up.
Out of box.
Pardon?
Do you want it in box or out of box?
Out of box.
I'll find one. I see them all the time.
I need Dracula, Frankenstein. I've got the Wolfman, the Creature from the Black Lagoon. I think I have the Mummy and Phantom of the Opera.
I also know a guy who's more of a horror fan than I am. It's insane. But I ain't talked to him in a while. I'll go talk to him.
And anything glow in the dark, I'm a huge fan. I've got, you guys saw that picture I did of the wall unit that I built. One of the very first things I put on it were those 4 statues. And now, when I've got the lights dimmed down and I'm watching, a movie or a TV show or whatever, I'll have the lights down just enough to where they will activate and glow, and I'm like, I've had them for a long fucking time.
I had to,
And
on the topic of merchandise, I had to talk Ree out of buying a model of Castle Grayskull because she's got like this like ongoing He-Man obsession for like since she was a kid. So she buys all this He-Man stuff. I got her some like last year for her birthday. I got some like He-Man kind of rock'em sock'em robots where they like punch each other.
nice.
You know,
That's actually I think kind of awesome. It wasn't my
yeah,
thing, you know.
it's funny.
Um,
Like it's not really mine either. But I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cool that you're into that. Like
being able
go
to,
for it.
as a grown up, be able to, still appreciate and latch onto or hang
I
on to
mean, it
these
is a
great
bit of
memories
a
of these things, these
it's a bit
IPs,
of a
if you will.
millennial thing. Is like retro taste and like always going back over the
Have you
past. But
showed her the
it's a
have you showed
cozy
her the
place.
Masters of the Universe game from Archon Studio?
Yeah, and she's like kind of she's like, I don't really want to nudge you into buying it and painting it because it is really expensive. And it's really expensive here as well. Like even I saw some scenery for it and I was like, maybe I couldn't make it in the first like go, but I think you or Fritz or someone who's got a bit more experience like cutting foam and stuff, half of it you could just make really with a bit
Mhm.
of know-how. So I was just like, it's very dear, but there are other tiers of like, I mean, as usual, the thing with me is like before I commit to a wargaming project or something like that, I usually see if I can find a board game version of something that's decent enough to keep me occupied. You know,
Mhm.
there's He-Man board games with nice models and stuff in them in circulation as well. So I might get her something like that and paint them or something like that. But yeah, she doesn't want to. She wanted like this giant, this gray skull thing. She's like, I want it, but she's like, where am I going to put it? you know,
I know the feeling. I had um, the Fortress Navarone playset when I was a kid. That big giant freaking mountain
that's
in the
fucking
German,
neat. That's great.
and I had to get rid of it because I had nowhere to put it
Was
as a
that like
kid.
an airfix? Was that like an airfix type thing, or in that vein, or
Yeah,
Marks,
kind
or
of. I think it was more. Well, it was more like a Marx playset. Like Fort Apache and the other ones. But it was you couldn't fold it down like Fort Apache. It was this giant freaking
that's my
plastic mountain, and
that's my jam. I
and
love all
it,
that diorama. I still buy those diorama boxes because if you're a war gamer, it's free terrain. Like
Mhm,
I've
mhm.
got a couple from Italieri downstairs.
But
They're great.
with the He Man, I would go over to Archon Studios and sign up to their newsletter and stuff because what'll happen is the Kickstarter they'll have another Kickstarter for like
hmm
another He Man thing, and when they
You know,
do,
I've never done a Kickstarter in my life. I've never
I'm
like
telling you,
signed
if
on for one.
Archon, your money is solid. They've
I'm
never.
worried that if I get into it, I'll be like a bit too into it and just
Well,
surrounded by toy
you,
soldiers.
you do have to use some restraint, but they'll do another
Yeah,
Kickstarter for He-Man for some other thing, and they'll offer up the old stuff uh, at Kickstarter prices, not retail prices, which will blow your mind how cheap the shit ends up being. And then the cool thing with them is they'll give you a payment plan option, so you can like stretch it out. Just a little payment here, a little payment there for 6 months, and then 6 months after that,
hmm
it'll arrive at your door, and she will be freaking blown away. I've got one of their Kickstarters arriving any day now, and it's going to be two giant freaking sailing ships about you know 2.5 almost 3 feet long each, and I have no fucking clue where I'm going to put them. I cleaned up the garage, I packed all the shit away.
Are they
um,
printed? Are they printed? Are they like FDM?
no, they're model kits, but they will
Oh,
be pre-painted, so I don't have to do any work. And one of them is going to be clear ghostly plastic, and one's going to be painted to quality better than I can paint, and they
yeah.
disassemble so I can put them in. I'll probably be able to fit each ship into a shoebox unassembled. And I was talking to Cal yesterday. That Kickstarter's on its way. I have no idea where it's going to go, and yet I am not even thinking twice about backing the next one, which is a Transylvania-based terrain Kickstarter. Like, oh yeah, absolutely, I'm on it. I had already bought Vampire Wars, the skirmish game, and some minis for it. I'll figure it out.
Well,
when it
those blue moon miniatures are really nice. I've bought some of their 18 mil in the past, and they're pretty good for that scale. Like, they're very chunky.
They're going to be here in a couple of days, and I'm going to have to hold back because I'm saving all my Vampire Wars and Halloween shit for September, October, November. I'll just put them on the shelf. It'll be like, because a couple of years ago, I said the same thing about something else, and I'm like, but I don't have any vampire miniatures, nothing to go with it, very few skeletons. I know, surprise, right? But I got this. I bought this big giant lot of merchandise from Rob Oren, and it came with this Games Workshop mausoleum. It's about the size of a shoebox, full of little scattered terrain and crypts and things like that. And I'm like, I've already got the terrain now for a little skirmish of vampires and vampire hunters, or werewolves and werewolf hunters, or vampires versus werewolves. There's just a crap ton of that stuff out there.
Yeah, I want to play Silver Bayonet at some point, which is like Napoleonic skirmish, but with horror elements thrown in. So like 19th century horror, basically. It's kind of nice.
I was meaning to ask you, Bear. You don't seem to be like a big horror fan, or is there like a sub niche that you actually do revel in?
You know nothing of me, sir.
Or your work?
I'm a huge horror fan.
I never hear you talk about it.
Why would I?
I don't know.
Every time I'm on these shows with you guys, the horror never comes up. It's all D&D and right wing, and I've never been around when someone said, "Hey, what's your favorite horror film?" or something like that.
Okay, what's your favorite horror film or something?
Honestly, 1981, The Changeling by Peter Medic. But also,
every single stream ends up being about food. Anyway,
I separate horror from gore. They're two different genres.
Yeah, totally.
So for me, I like a good scary movie or a like the original Wicker Man. That's a horror film, in my opinion.
Yes, it's not bad either.
And it's a damn fucking good one. Now, gore films, there's some I like, there's some I don't like. Depends on my mood. Pumpkinhead would probably be my favorite modern-ish, like the 80s. All the horror films, I love Pumpkinhead the most.
I like a good zombie movie.
I hate fucking zombie movies. I'm so done with zombie movies.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing. It's like I was looking for a good zombie board game the other day, and I'm like, I remember when this market was like saturated. And people were getting sick of it. And now it's like, is it time for a comeback? Maybe I need to leave it in the ground for another.
Please let zombies stay as dead as long as fucking vampires did. Please. Jesus Christ.
But some of us were working and chasing skirt during all these pop culture moments. I haven't got to enjoy all of these things yet. It's like when people go,
yeah, tell me about
fighting kobolds.
Yeah.
Fighting kobolds is boring. It's like, well, yeah, but I'd like a go at it.
There you go. Yeah, no, I'm a big horror fan, but it's got to be good stuff. Like, there's some of the VHS movies I quite enjoyed. I was like, a couple of them are pretty fucking good. Some are garbage, Depends, man. Like, I know you're into more of the classic horror stuff.
Well, it's that way with everything. I want to go as far back in time as I can to the roots and work my way forward and see, what influenced what and how it even got to where it is now. We wouldn't have the whole, vampire mystique and fandom if it wasn't for the original Dracula. and I watched it last year, and I was thoroughly unimpressed. I was
the
like,
original Dracula?
Shadow,
Yeah.
do you know about Professor Quatermass?
Quatermass. I know about Quatermass.
um,
Hobbs End.
He's kind of the archetypal, like he's kind of like a pre-Doctor Who, like a proto-Doctor Who. Like he's like
That's
an
a fair assessment of
affable,
him, yeah.
older
no, not at all.
English
You ever seen it in the
academic
mouth?
type who
You ever seen it in the
helps
Mouth
the
of
military
Madness?
fight cosmic horror.
Shadow, have you ever seen it in the Mouth of Madness?
No,
Carpenter.
no.
Carpenter was a huge Quatermass fan to the point where he makes references to it through a lot of his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
I've
If
heard
you
of
think
it.
about the whole kind of grandfatherly sort of like military attaché scientist who helps them uncover the alien seed pod in the comet that's hit the building. That
In a
kind
tube
of
station at the end of the line called
Yeah,
Hobbs
yeah,
End.
yeah.
Yeah. They're not good, by the way. The Quatermass stuff is very,
What happened to
they're
Bubba?
all right.
it's very
Atmospheric.
much a product of its time in the 60s.
I didn't even hear Bubba leave. What happened?
He just vanished.
Probably had an internet issue. I hope that's the case.
He'll be back. He'll be back.
You know, you're always
He'll
welcome
come
to
back.
hang out here, Bubba.
Let's check in on my purple helmet.
But yeah, with everything that I do like, I want to go back and you know see its origin story.
Yeah, you and George Lucas both.
It just, I mean, doesn't it make sense to you know, if you like something, you know, track down, you know, its history to some extent.
No, you're sorry. No, it's not history, Shadow. It's hipstery. It's your hipster nature. That's what it is.
Okay, that's fair, I suppose.
You know, maybe.
It's got to come from
Is he hipster
somewhere.
or is he just a contrarian?
No, I'm the contrarian. He's the hipster.
Yeah.
And I'm Baldrick.
Baldrick, I swear if the prince insults me one more time, our contract will be as cracked as this cup. But Mr. B, that cup is not cracked. You do walk into these things, don't you, Baldrick? Yes. I have a cunning plan.
Yeah.
No, the thing with me is I don't like prequels. Like, I don't mind looking at the original history of something. That's fine. You're right on that, Shadow. But this obsession with doing prequels to everything now, when they want to go and like, let's find out how Star Wars became Star Wars.
No.
Let's
If
find
it
out
wasn't-
how Star Trek became Star Trek. It's like, fuck, we were there when it became what it is. We don't need that.
Yeah, I find that kind of, you know, just a cash grab and piss poor writing, to be honest.
Mhm.
If
You don't feel like you're going to watch a pulp kind of family adventure when you hear the title either. It's not like The Phantom Menace or something like that. It's more like Chewie. You know, that's the film. Or Solo. You know, like
you know, I was
very
actually
kind of
thinking about this. You know, during both Supernatural and the Venture Brothers, eventually at different points they have to go back in time and talk about the ancestry of the characters, and sometimes they can pull it off and it's great. Okay, I
Sometimes,
love Enterprise. It's one of my
often not.
favorite. What? Right.
So it's-
And
yeah.
in working on my own version of that, you know, my Venture Supernatural amalgamation campaign I want to run, I'm literally having to think about, you know, I know where I want the like the pre-gens that I'm going to hand out for the players. It's like, you get to be Dean, you get to be Brock, that kind of thing. You know, not you know, one for one identical characters, you know, amalgamations and change ups and things like that, but inspired by. And I'm thinking, well, I need to know some prehistory stuff. Where do I want to start? How far back do I want to go? And, you know, without like making it up as I go along.
I'd like to address something Death Angel Shadow just said. He said, hey, I liked Enterprise. So which Enterprise did you like? The first 2.5, 3 seasons or the last season? Because there's a difference. The problem with Enterprise is I cite Enterprise as the beginning of the decline of modern Star Trek, because they go to the past. And Star Trek should always be about going forward, right? And Berman and Braga were just playing loosey-goosey with canon all through the first couple of seasons of that show, and it pissed off a lot of the fans, which is why their numbers weren't good. And then they brought in Manny Cotto as a showrunner, and he went, no, I gotta fix all this shit now that they've fucked up by having the Borg in the past and having the Romulans with cloaking devices and fucking Ferengi show up and Gorns when they don't meet Gorns until fucking the episode Arena in TOS. And that's the thing, right? Then the show gets good. And most people will agree with you that the latter half or the latter third of Enterprise until that final fucking episode, which is shit, is really much better. Much better. But that's because Manny Cotto came in going, I know what the fans like. The problem with Berman and Braga is just because Berman taught him, is because Berman was there when Roddenberry on TNG was telling all the writers, don't pay attention to the old show. Don't pay attention to the canon of the old show. So he took that as the gospel from Roddenberry. And the thing is that people who watch Star Trek really like the canon. They really like knowing what's going on in the universe and having reference points and, debates about things. So, that's why for me, it'll always be the original show, Star Trek 2, 3, and 4, and DS9, except for the final episode. And that's my Star Trek. Happy as a pig in shit. Watch those for the rest of my life. There's good episodes of TNG. There's a lot of crap in TNG that people think is good. There's okay episodes. There's actually really good episodes. Voyager has 4 or 5 amazing fucking episodes. And then it has about couple dozen absolute shit episodes, and then it just has a bunch of barely watchable trash. You know what I mean? But what are you gonna do? You know me, Shadow. I'm very opinionated about my Star Trek.
Sometimes it feels like the next generation is like some episodes, like the people writing them are like, this is a really clever concept, but it's like it was such a long-running show that they'd kind of go over the same stuff.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Times, like thematically, I really liked Enterprise because, like, it had a bit of that Kirk kind of action, especially the first few seasons.
It didn't though. Come on. The only thing I liked in those first few seasons was every time the Andorians showed up, I knew Captain Quantum was getting his fucking ass beat, and that was like worth watching Scott Bakula get beat up all the time. I was like, fuck yeah.
And the theme tune is unforgivable as well. Like it's it's a war crime, that theme tune. Like
yeah. Season 3 TNG was better. The problem is once they got past the season 3 hump, Death's Angel Shadow, the big problem was they did so many fucking dark things to Picard. There was no way that guy should have been left in a command seat. Like, oh yeah, you were assimilated by the Borg and de-assimilated. Let's put him back in command. Oh, you were probed by this probe and you led 78 years of life in another civilization. Let's put him back in the command seat. You were kidnapped by the Cardassians and tortured to the point where you actually did see what the guy told you, but your Starfleet training kept you from. Maybe it's time to put you out to pasture, Jean-Luc. Maybe you need to go just sit behind a desk somewhere, buddy. Come on.
They do that a lot to characters, though, and it's actually a bit disheartening for the audience sometimes. Like, I don't think people were happy with Luke Skywalker's return, for example. Like, it felt like it was a bit downcast in its,
Well, it was, we watched a murder on screen. They literally went out of their way to turn the hero that we all grew up with as boys, murdered by a woman who clearly hates all men and boys and everything in between.
I mean, Mark Hamill, for his faults, like, I think he felt the same way. Like, I think he was a bit disappointed.
Well, he used to refer to the character as, was it Steve Skywalker or something? Because I'm reading this script and there's this guy, Skywalker. I don't recognize him, but it's like Steve Skywalker. Okay, we're doing that story. It's like, yeah, I get that. Like, I 100% get that. Anyway, Star Wars has been dead for me for a long time, so I don't give a fuck.
But I always pick up like discarded stuff that people don't care about anymore. Like I'm like a trash collector like that. And it's funny because like everybody is so up on pop culture and role-playing games and stuff like that. But probably for a good 20 years, I think I was just like working the whole time. And if I wasn't working, I was probably out, getting up to no good, trying to think about not working. So it's almost like things like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. Like I watch them now and it's like really fresh for me. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this is actually quite enjoyable to take it for what it is, like a good adventure film, or
Sure.
like
it was Jake's. There was a
it's
Jake Skywalker. Thanks, Death Angel Shadow. Yeah, it was Jake Skywalker. Remember those interviews? But no, but you're not wrong on that, and that's one of the problems with fandom, right? Is that fandom gets obsessive. They always get obsessive.
Yeah.
Now, if you take me, go ahead.
Sorry, I just think the worst thing about fandom is that they're always hungry for more content and more loose ends to be tied up, and that kind of wears things out a bit. Like I think a lot of shows would be great if there were just like 2 or 3 seasons. Like Firefly is great because it didn't run for 11 seasons.
Yeah, but there should also be a law against canceling a great show before it's time.
Yeah,
we've invested a year.
Go ahead. You go ahead and do that petition. We'll see how that works out for the lawmakers.
I know. It's just so. Oh, it just grinds my gears so freaking. Oh, so much, so many great things.
Fandoms always want more, and it's like
right. But I mean, some of the greats, the classics, back in the day or whatever, just abruptly canceled, and everybody knows damn well that it was great and it would have made them mountains of money, and there's no real excuse.
But it didn't, and that's the problem. The stuff that you think is great didn't make the mountains of money. They didn't do X-Files business right out of the gate, and therefore they were seen as a loss by the network.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember the show remember that 80s show when they did that 80s show? Remember that? I didn't dislike that show. I actually quite enjoyed it. I was like, this is fun. I like what they're going with it. I like their attitude. But that 70s show's fans hated it because it wasn't just that 70s show in the 80s all of a sudden, right? Well, we found out that just for laughs, the girl who played the record store owner, the older comedian, did a radio interview where someone asked her, why did it get canceled? And she said something like it was like 78 cents. And they're like, what? She goes, so what they did was they took all the costs of doing the show versus the ad revenue generated, and we fell under the line for renewal by 78 cents. And the executives went, well, no renewal for them, canceled. And that's how it works. That's how it works. I spent 28 years in that industry. That's how it fucking works. Shadow's running a studio. He's greenlit James's film, Australian Death Commandos versus the Koalas, and it's looking great. Everything's happening. Everybody's excited about it. Shadow leaves and goes to another studio. Another producer comes in and immediately cancels all of Shadow's projects. Or if they're already too late into the shooting, underfunds them for the remainder. It's a pissing game. Avril Lavigne is what?
Avril Lavigne has pulled out of the project pending.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Because she was threatened by being run over by a crazy Aussie.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is, I think a lot of sci-fi franchises in particular, like, I kind of want some of the mystery back. Really, like, I don't want to know the answer to every question. Like, I kind of think that
I agree. A bit. I fucking agree. I don't need to know where the Borg came from. They exist. That's all I fucking need to know about them, is that they exist. But no, they're a product of V'ger. No, they're not. All humans made them. No, they didn't. Like, just stop trying to come up with, like, the origin of everything.
I heard one that was the Romulans. I'm like,
there's all tons of them.
How retarded can you get? As soon as I was talking about this about Aliens, not Alien, but Aliens, the movie. That movie kind of ruined it for me.
That's a shame. I like that movie.
I like it too, but as soon as the alien was in your face and you knew exactly what he looked like, he lost 90% of his scariness. Value for me, at least.
You ever heard the story about how that movie got made? You ever hear the story how the movie got made?
Which one?
Aliens, the second one. Cameron got invited to pitch, walked into the meeting. This is now, no one's confirmed it, but this is what has been said. He walked into the meeting, went up to the whiteboard, took the magic marker, wrote the word aliens, and then put a line through the S, meaning dollar signs, and then just put the pen down and looked at the executives. And then it was like, and then they were like, all right, we're sold. What are we doing? Like, they were in. Because he just basically said, we will make a shit ton of money with one word and a fucking line, right? Like, that's brilliant. But no, Alien. Okay, go watch Alien, the first one again.
Mm-hmm.
Only the face hugger has acid for blood. The alien, which they call a xenomorph, not the xenomorph, does not have blood that is acid. In fact, she shoots him with the harpoon. You don't see any fucking blood coming out of him melting the harpoon or any of that bullshit. Cameron was the one who added that in Aliens. Now it's fucking lore, right? Now it's all of them have acid for blood, you know? Things like that. It's like, that's the stuff. Like, so many changes get made down the road. You get, like you're saying, you get further and further away from what the source was at that point.
Right. I remember back in that time, I used to get like Starlog magazines and things like that, and they had this image, this like white background image with the freaking xenomorph all laid out, you know, like a I want to say it was a profile of it. You know, you could see the weird head, the tail, everything, right? And I'm like, you know, subconsciously, I'm like, it's no longer scary. It's just another alien. It's kind of badass.
But this is the story of human storytelling. What is the first scary stories humans told each other? What's in the dark? What's over the next hill in the next valley? What's in that forest on the other side of the river? And then you as a human start, no matter what story they're telling you, you start building the monster in your head. Fear of the unknown is the most insanely powerful human fear.
Absolutely.
How many movies have you seen, scary movies, that in the third act, when they reveal the monster, you're just kind of like, it's not that scary. Because the thing you built in your head was way scarier.
Exactly. All of them lose everything as soon as they do that. Even like, I remember I was watching, I think it was Jeepers Creepers.
That's the worst one. You read the script, the original script, you don't find out he's a demon until the final act. So it's just a weird serial killer slasher movie up until the final act. The director, who, by the way, has been brought up on PDF file charges, he saw the costume and freaked out that he loved it so much he put it in the first act and ruined the fucking movie. Ruined it.
Rock spider.
What?
That's what we call it. That's Australian slang for PDF file. Rock spider.
Sorry, what spider?
Rock
spider.
Rock spider. Oh, really?
Yeah. Like the principal in Ferris Bueller.
There's some really good things that have been canceled. There have been some really good ideas that have been ruined in execution. You know, it's just the way it is.
That's one of the reasons why I tend to wait before I get into something, because too many times, like when I used to actually watch Netflix, I would watch, like, I would see a cool looking show, and it you know, I couldn't tell if, you know, it was the whole story, so to speak, you know, they got to the end and it was the end, or if there were more episodes coming out. And I learned the hard way to check, you know, the release dates and things like that to find out, because I would watch, you know, a TV show and then get to the last episode on Netflix and go, oh, okay, I guess we'll just wait until, you know, season 3 comes out. And, you know, a couple years go by, and then I'll look the show up, which I should have done back then, and find out that the show was in fact canceled, and that's it. That's the end. Is the last episode you saw is all you're going to get in the way of, you know, resolution and what have you, and it just killed so many great shows for me that way. Not, you know, I would have just not wasted my time. You know, if a show's gonna, you know, come out hard, strong, and give you all the things that you're hoping for, mystery, excitement, adventure, etc. And then just freaking get the head with the axe.
It's just an
For
analogy for a marriage, brother. Comes out
Maybe-
hard, strong, gives you everything you want, and then just maybe it's better it got canceled. You know what I'm saying?
could be, but we'll never know.
So many of my favorite shows. It's taken me years to actually like get to see all the episodes in sequence. Anyway, I mean, the way free to air TV is now, if I switch it on and there's something on that I like and it's like 10 minutes in, I'll watch it because it feels like striking gold, like we're used to basically having everything we want on demand now. Like you can just download anything.
You know what I miss? I miss video
No.
stores.
Oh my God!
Getting the
Right?
house,
Oh yeah,
going to
absolutely,
the store,
absolutely.
walking the aisles, looking at the boxes, reading the back. If you're with your partner, what do you think? You think maybe this, maybe I miss that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great.
Well.
I did not know that.
It was
Chris.
especially great when they had sales as well. You could pick up like a
I had a
tape.
bin. I love the
cents.
$2 VHS bin. That was my favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
We had this great place.
And you kind of had different grades of one, like your Blockbuster or your big kind of commercial chain. It's like they'd get the big movies like straight to video, and there'd be like a queue for those. But there'd be kind of some like more esoteric ones around town, or places where you could kind of like, I want to watch like weird French cinema from like 1960 to 1970. Okay, we'll just take this shelf.
Most of our video stores, even the Blockbuster, we had several. They were all pretty much 99% the latest release, and that was it. So it was just a downgrade from going to the theater. But when DVDs came out, we had this place called DVD Planet, and it was like everything you guys are describing, but more, because at that point, almost everything imaginable that had ever been on VHS or even on TV was now available. I mean, the most obscure crap, they had everything you can imagine. And when you couldn't get it, like from BritBox or places overseas and things like that, they had it. A buddy, my friend Ron, who passed away last year, I was blown away when one Friday he and I would go. We'd go there every Friday, then we grab some dinner somewhere and go over what we bought separately. He'd have a bag of crap and I'd have a bag of stuff, and he pulled out absolutely fabulous, and I was like, no freaking way. I used to watch that show on Comedy Central. I thought I was the only person who ever watched that show.
Ab Fab, like with Patsy and Adina.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely fabulous. The show was hysterical.
Sweetie,
It's
darling,
funny
darling,
because
sweetie, darling, sweetie. Yeah.
It's
You ever see the
kind
episode
of,
where they revealed that Patsy was a guy? Remember that episode?
Yeah.
They're flashing back to the hash they had in Marrakesh, and it's like all of them in Marrakesh as hippies, and they're like, Patty, play us that song again. And they cut over, there's this blonde thin boy, and he's playing like a flute or some shit, and it's like it's supposed to be Patsy's trans. That was the joke.
Yeah, those two ladies are fantastic. I mean, it's funny because it's like it's kind of chick comedy, but
aggressively so.
Yeah, but it is great. Like, they are like amazing caricatures, and I always had like a weird thing for Julia Sawala, the Saffron.
She's cute.
Yeah. Well, she's quite attractive in real, like when she's not dressed up like
frumped up, you mean?
Frumpy.
Yeah, frumped up.
Frump core. But yeah, that show is great.
I
one of
always
the
thought
shows I used to watch when I was really little, and I felt really sophisticated watching a show like that, even though like most of the adult humor just totally sailed over my head, you know?
you guys remember Mo Gaffney from that show? No? Okay.
Mo
Well,
Gaffney.
she was like one of the side characters. I forget who she played.
Bubble. Do you mean Bubble?
And
Or...
I had watched her. She had like a stand up show kind of thing on
Yeah.
Comedy Central. I mean, like in the early days of Comedy Central. You know, I was like, who is this? You know, why is she here? Kind of thing. She's like kind of funny. But I guess it turned out that she'd gotten her start over there, or she, you know, made enough of an impact over there to where she got her own show, and it was just like weird. Um, I don't know why they thought that was a good idea, but I guess, you know.
Do you mean the lady that plays like the woman that Marshall, her ex-husband, married? The short guy from The Young Ones, I think he is, plays her ex-husband.
Maybe it's been a long time. I'm surprised that name actually stuck in my head. Chris says, in 2014, I went to the video store to rent Shaun of the Dead, and the girl said they don't have it because they don't carry old movies.
That's funny.
I think she was just fucking with you, man. I really do. Because that's not that old a movie, and there are far older movies that you can guarantee they probably had. That was probably her just being a, you know, see you next Tuesday.
Yanking your chain.
I don't know. We are truly blessed with what we do get to watch. I remember when I lived in Virginia. Mind you, this is in the '90s, and I lived in this little military town, and we had exactly 3 TV channels. And mind you, this was the '90s, and cable was a thing. But you know, we just moved in, and the only thing on any of the channels was old military comedies. Uh, F Troop, Petticoat Junction,
Hogan's
Heroes, all that. You know, Gomer Pyle though was clearly the most popular because it was on all 3 channels at different times. So you could literally like watch nothing but Gomer Pyle all day long if you so choose. And I can't imagine there being anybody who would choose that, but that was actually a thing. And when we got back to California,
Congratulations on buying the Gomer Pyle package with your cable.
I was so glad to get back to California where that wasn't the case. And of course, then I don't know if Blockbuster was just going out of business, but I remember when that happened, we were all like devastated.
When I lived in Melbourne, there was a place called Video Busters, but they kind of turned into a Dollar Tree over time. Like, as it became harder and harder to sustain the kind of novelty of being like the last video store in like the state, they slowly transitioned into being like a $2 shop where you buy like aquarium plants and dog biscuits and, you know, vitamin water, that kind of thing.
I knew things were getting bad when the 99-cent store went out of business. That place had been, you know, a thing for us for decades.
Where I went to college, when you'd enter through the subway station, there's a mall you'd walk into. They had this little store, and the name of the store was a $1 or more store. To which I was just looking at my bed like, wasn't that every fucking store?
Yeah.
Doesn't every store have shit for less than $1 or more? What the fuck?
Well, apparently not now. I mean, I went into a fast food place. I forget which one, and they said they can no longer give exact change because the penny was being discontinued.
It's already been long gone in Canada.
And
Yeah,
yet
you
I
don't
go into
get
Walmart.
some
I go into
information.
Walmart and use the machine. I put a $20 bill in, and to pay for my purchase. And sure enough, I got pennies back. Speaking of money and weird shit that happens, uh, we got. Can you believe this? My wife got a letter in the mail, uh, and it was from like some insurance company or something like that. And there was this little window, and you could see like, hey, that looks like there's a dollar bill in there. You know, like what are they
Hmm.
sending money to try to bribe you to whatever? And she opened
Yeah.
it up, and it wasn't a dollar bill; it was a $2 bill.
Hmm.
Okay, so if you know anything about the states here, $2 bills are actually kind of fucking rare. You don't see those very often. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, son of a bitch. That's what they're going to do. They're going to phase out the dollar bill and go to the $2 bill just because the economy is so shit that why have a $1 bill when you can just have the two and screw you that way?
Yeah. I mean, the inflation problem is an issue everywhere. I think we're really seeing a lot of inflation caused by printing money during the pandemic, printing money
Oh,
for military adventures. You know,
military
uh,
adventures.
you know what I'm talking about. Not the kind that I
Yeah,
played,
just the way
but
you put that, though, that
yeah,
is the height of irony, I think.
yeah, military. Like, I'm only ever funny unintentionally, like when I say something understated, but when I actually try and make a quip, everyone's like, "Oh, don't give up your day job."
I've never said that or thought that, but carry on.
Yeah, but it's a weird kind of inflationary time. I have to admit, I do still get to spend a fair amount of money on my hobby. I should probably slow down, but there's so much cool stuff out there. It's like a second childhood. Maybe it's not healthy. Maybe it's a bit too nostalgia driven.
Well, you know what?
But
I my best advice, and I give this to everybody who can, you know, use it, is stock up on a little bit of extra food, stuff
mhm,
non-perishable, waters and things like that. Because worst case scenario, you run out of space, and you got too many cans of ravioli or some shit,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Uh, but in an emergency, if 1 month or 6 month period gets really really tight, but you've got that closet space filled with
mhm,
with the things that you like to eat, that you would eat anyways, but are in some sort of non-perishable form that you can tolerate, go in 6 months, adding one of those items to your day or something like that. You never know. Someone loses a job, or you get an unexpected bill or whatever. You've
yeah,
got
yeah,
a
yeah.
solid, usable insurance policy that you're in control of, and you know our grocery bill is literally like the only bill we're in charge of completely. We can
Well,
decide
we
what what we're
we
going to
never
eat.
order in. Like we would only order food in like if one of us was like really sick or something like that.
Shadow, I got to run, brother.
No
I
worries.
gotta
I'm
go
going
do.
to
I gotta go
actually
do
end
an
this.
unboxing video. My free league package showed up. Oh my
Nice,
god,
nice.
Nice, very
so
nice. That
heavy.
looks nice and heavy. And I'm going to leave you
Done
guys
well.
with that tip because I got to go mow that damn
Hmm.
lawn. Like something else, it's not going to do itself. So I will see
Hmm.
you guys later. James, thanks for showing up. Bear, thanks for showing
No
up. Bubba,
problem.
hope you're doing okay. and you just had internet
Yeah.
issues and not health issues. James, I'll talk to you later. I'm gonna finish watching that video uh, later this afternoon, but I gotta mow that lawn before it gets any hotter, or I'm gonna just be dead. It's not a big lawn, but it's freaking already 90 degrees outside. So take care. James is frozen. Everybody else out there in TV land, have a great day. I will see you guys tomorrow morning with the same shenanigans.